So I don't know if you saw, but I was turning off my microphone, and then I moved a little bit and I knocked the glass off and I broke the glass. And it was wonderful to watch as we were trying to figure this out. How do we deal with this broken glass right there? And so I said, let's just leave it. And then I saw Father Nathaniel go and get a broom and everything like that, and someone else got a towel, and I just said again to Deacon to my left, let's just leave it, we'll take care of it after Mass. And generally speaking, that's what happens when some mini crisis or a big crisis occurs in our life. We try to mend the situation, and sometimes right away. Today, of course, is a time where we recognize that we did not attempt to mend a situation and right away. When we consider the abuse of children within the life of the church, particularly of our clergy or teachers or employees are involved, or as we look at abuse in families, or as we look at abuse out there in the open field in society, there is a tendency to sweep that, right? Sweep that brokenness, under the rug, not clean it up, but to just sweep it away. And then tragedy continues in the life of those who have been abused. And all the while, we work on other things and consider other things that will keep us, close to God. And you hear in the gospel today of this publican who probably swept many things under the rug, who thought that he was righteous. The gospel says Jesus addressed this parable to those who were convinced of their own righteousness. They swept many things under the rug. They weren't ready to take matters or to consider the matters that were lying before them and address them right away. Most of us will clean up small things and right away. And sometimes it's okay to let certain things go, like in this case. But in another case, we need to deal with them right away and address them right away. And we hear about this tax collector who acknowledges his sins and is addressing them before our God right away, pounding his chest, recognizing, as we do every time we come to Mass, our own sinfulness, and we beat our chest through my fault, through my most grievous fault. But sometimes we will beat our chest like this publican, acknowledging that yes, we've sinned, but we haven't really deeply focused on our sinfulness. Certainly the church for generations had not examined itself effectively. And yet we carried on like a publican, beating our chest and examining other sins, not focusing on what really mattered, what was really hurting within the life of so many within our church and in our society. And so we are now, not because we wanted to be proactive early on in life, but now we are proactive after hearing the voice of those who were crying out, asking, begging, and even charging the church to do the right thing. So we are a little bit more like the tax collector today, beating our chest, but with a purpose and with an eye on what we have really done in the life of our church. And so we are called to be proactive. Sadly, it wasn't by choice, but now we are And in many ways, it is a part of the whole mission of the church. It is a different way of being church today. It is now a part of the mission. And to go beyond just what we have done within our church, but also to look at victims in other ways of life. Those who have been abused in their families, those who have been abused on the sports field or in schools. And to that end, we continue to have these prayers here in the Diocese of Phoenix. And under the wonderful care of Dr. Ann Vargas in the Office for Child Protection, we continue to assist those who have been struggling after they had been abused for so many years. And we go beyond that by training our clergy. In fact, we just had a wonderful victim of abuse speak to the deans of the Diocese of Phoenix about the effects of the abuse even in her life today. And how important that is for us to hear it so that we respond effectively rather than, again, sweeping it under the rug. So the challenge is for us to continue this. And the way that we are challenged, obviously, is by those who had been abused and by the family members who have had to endure the pain of those who have struggled because of their abuse. And we continue to examine our own conscience. Are we doing enough? Are we doing enough? The answer, quite frankly, is no. We can always do more and address this and help to eliminate as best we can this particular evil of abuse, especially abuse of minors. And so in this season of Lent, we are called to be not the publican, but the tax collector, to look at ourselves and to really examine, or the Pharisee rather, but the tax collector, and to look at ourselves and really examine, are we people who sweep abuse under the rug? Do we sweep other evils under the rug? And do we focus on the minor sins and not look at the evils that surround us in our society? Perhaps a season of Lent can allow us to examine our deeper conscience, not just our personal conscience, but to look around and see in what way can our society be better if we examine the conscience of our world. As we prepare to celebrate this Eucharist then today, let us ask our Lord Jesus, who is the divine physician, to heal our society, to heal our church, to heal those who had abused, and to heal those who are abusers, and bring them to wholeness. This is the joy that we celebrate, which is a celebration at the conclusion of our Lenten season, that we don't have to continue forever and always into the kingdom of heaven, beating our chest, but trust and believe that our divine physician brings us to wholeness. So let us celebrate that good news in our life today.